Okay guys, welcome. So had a few questions come in and I thought, you know what, we'll do a little video on it. So hooks. Now when you're first starting off, knowing what hook to get can be quite a big thing, because at the end of the day certain hooks are better for certain species, depending what you're targeting really. Now one of the first real good hooks I would recommend using are the manta style hooks. Okay, you get them from 1/0, you can get them all up for different sizes. You'll go up to 8/0s and probably bigger, and you get two types of hooks. So you get with the J hooks, depending what brand you're using. We got Sakuma ones here obviously, but you get like the manta size hooks, which is a J hook, and then you get the extras, which are a more stronger hook. Now depending what species you're going for, if you're going for like whiting and dogfish and stuff like that, you can get away with using them. I would recommend going for the extra sort of size hooks, just because you've got a slightly stronger hook. You never know what you're going to catch. You put some bait in the water with a hook on it, and you've got the same chances as anybody else of catching a fish. So you imagine first starting off and catching that fish of a lifetime, you want to make sure you can land it. You spend enough money on everything else, you want to make sure you landing the fish. So that's where the extras come in slightly. They're a good hook, perfect for sand eel, perfect for rays, perfect for dogfish, perfect for bullets. I've caught smoothhound, I've caught congers, I've caught a lot of different species on these hooks, and yeah, they're a really good strong hook. It's a J hook basically, guys, no matter what brand you use. And obviously with the Sakuma range and the 545 Manta extras, and you use them in different sizes. Now depending what size bait is depending what size hook you use. So if you're using a single sand eel bait, my advice would be to go for a 3 or 4/0 hook, depending what species you're after really. I mean, if you want to use smaller baits and go for like place and different things like that, you could get away with using down to the 1/0s. I mean, maybe a 2/0 I wouldn't go any bigger than a 1/0 really. Size 1s and that as well, they go right down through. So you've got the mantas in a size 1/0, you've got mantas in a size 1, you've got a mantas in a size 2s. So they would be more for worm baits, targeting place and stuff. As they start getting bigger, then you would start going on to using them for squid, using them for mackerel baits, using them for sand eel baits. A lot of guys prefer the 5/0s when they're using them. A lot of guys like the 5/0s, a nice size hook for a bigger fish at the same time. But out of years of experience, like for small hiding and stuff like that, 4 or 5/0 perfect. Spotties, maybe go for a 3 to 4/0. If you're after the small hides, maybe go for a 4 or 5/0. Then you can go bigger, obviously for the taupe and stuff like that. You could go for like 6/0s, 7/0s, 8/0s maybe. Exactly the same for the eels and that as well. But the manta size hooks are a really good strong hook, especially with the extras really. But obviously the extras go from a 1/0 upwards, and they also do a Penel hook version as well. So the way the Penel hook works, you have your bottom hook at the bottom of the bait. So a Penel, they have a top offset eye on the top of them. I don't know if you can pick that up there. So basically, you put that on your trace line first and you bring it down. Some people use a bit of shrink tubing just to wrap it around, just to hold the hook into place. But it allows you to have a hook at the bottom of your bait and also a hook at the bottom, at the top of the bait as well. And 9 times out of 10, depending on what species you're after, and I've had it a lot where the top hook will connect and be the one which has caught you the fish. So it is worth using the Penel hooks, guys, especially when ray fishing. It gives you an extra hook to use. So I'll put that back now. It's a 4/0s, but that's basically those ones there. Now we move on through. We've got some different type of hooks here. Now this is like this is what they call the top guns. So it's more, the eyes turn back in on themselves a little bit more rather than a Chinu hook. Okay, these can be really good for rays. I've used them for rays. They can be really good for smoothhounds, crab baits and stuff like that really. Perfect crab bait hook them. You can use them for gilthead bream and stuff. They do them in various sizes from like 1/0 up to they got 5/0s. They got a 6/0 there. Let's have a look. What size are they? That is it looks quite a bigger hook. Price tags over that. So that's a 6/0. So it's a 6/0 top gun. And if I get one of these out of the packet in a minute, I can show you. these a bit big really, but for the gilt edge, but you could use them for bass and stuff like that. And where the Chinu would come around circle wise, these come back in on themselves slightly, and yeah, it can be really good for targeting different species and stuff like that. They're a bit more of a stronger hook than the manta hook, okay, but yeah, at the same time, very good hook. When you're using those sort of hooks, the Penel versions are called an Octopus hook, okay? So they're exactly the same as the big guns, top gun, sorry, but they've got an offset eye, same for the Penel hook. So the Octopuses are absolutely cracking for using for the top hook for your Penel. Smooth arm fishing especially, where you're using snail knots and that, the Octopus hooks work really well. Over the years, I've had some fantastic fish on the Octopus hook, using them as my Penel hook. I've caught massive turbot with them, big blom rays, lots of big small-eyed rays, and lots of smooth arm and stuff like that, and they really are a good hook. We come down then, and this is what you call a crab hook, okay? They're very similar to a Chinu hook, but they're slightly longer shanked, and these can be very deadly for targeting bass in different sizes, catching plaice in the smaller sizes, and smooth armed especially as well. What I would advise, guys, is if you're fishing areas for the first time and you don't know the area, maybe speak to locals. If you're a guy on the beach, go up and have a chat and say, look, it's my first time fishing here, could you give me any advice? 9 times out of 10 they will always help you. Obviously you won't get help unless you ask. Now, I'm not sure what venues you're fishing, but especially I'm going to go back to a venue where I fished this year with Joseph, Branscombe. If I went down to Branscombe and I was using 4 or 5 hooks, or like that sort of size hook like I'm using to Bristol Channel, then I wouldn't pick up the fish, because there tends to be a lot of smaller fish down there. So if you're fishing a 1/0 hook, or maybe up to a 2/0 hook, or even a size 1, you'll catch a lot of smooth arm down there, where if you went up for bigger hooks, you get a lot of bites, but you wouldn't hook into the fish. So that sort of venue, shallow, clean ground, I find the smaller hooks are more deadly rather than using the bigger hooks. Having said that, in the Bristol Channel, I would always prefer to use a slightly bigger hook for the strength, to make sure when that fish is smashing, obviously it's dirty water, it's picking up and it's doing the job straight away. But you need to match your hooks to your bait sizes. No point using a massive great bait and having a little tiny hook coming out of it, because 9 times out of 10 it'd be a bigger fish what pick it up, and you need that hook being there. It's like targeting big bass. A lot of people use smaller baits with smaller size hooks for targeting bass. Me, I don't do that. I use a nice big hook, whole squid bait, have the points coming out of it. As a bass sees a squid, it comes in, smashes it up, and the hooks go straight into the side of the mouth. You want those hooks proud. No matter what you're doing with your bait ups and stuff, make sure those hook points are proud away from the bait. So the way to look at it is, you smother the bait, you're smothering the bite, and that's the way I always look at it when it comes to baiting up, that sort of thing. Now, the Chinu hook is probably one of my favorite style hooks, okay? The Chinu, they do it in lots of different sizes. You can get them from like real small sizes to real big sizes, and me personally, what I get out of using a Chinu, for me, for the type of fishing I do with a specimen size, I've got a very, very strong hook. If I hook into a fish and I get a good fish on, I know that hook is not bending out. I use them different sizes for a lot of different species. I use them smaller sizes, targeting gilt-edged bream, black bream, even flounders I go down and I'll use a Chinu on certain venues. Bullets, smooth hounds, conger eels, small-eyed ray, blom ray, spotted ray. I've had them all on the Chinu hooks, and they're a fantastic hook to use. They really are, especially with the snell knot. Now, a lot of guys won't know what the snell knot is when you're first starting out. It's something what we'll get into at later stages with knots and stuff, okay? But for the snell knot, personally, it's a fixed top hook and with a bottom hook, obviously, at the same time, so the top hook doesn't move, it's fixed. And the Chinu can be absolutely deadly when using it for that. Now, and the same again, a lot of match anglers, when you start using these now, I'll get a decent size one up, but these go from really small sizes, like size 4 and smaller, I think. I'll cut my phone off there, but as it is, that is what you know as an Aberdeen hook. Okay, a lot of different brands do them. Camazan, a very strong, really top quality hook company as well, alongside Sakuma. But they've got the Aberdeen size. But now an Aberdeen hook is a perfect worm bait hook. Use them for lugworm, ragworms, you know, that's the black lug, that sort of thing, and it holds the bait very well. So yeah, that's down to the Aberdeen hook. Then we go over to the Stinger hook. Now, these are slightly smaller gauged, but they can be absolutely deadly. Very, very strong. A bit similar to the Aberdeen hook, but in my opinion, a little bit more stronger. But as I said, guys, they do them in a lot of different sizes. I know a lot of guys use those for bigger ones as well. You've got the Atlantic hooks, what are more of like a meat hook sort of size bait, what you can use in bigger sizes and stuff. And I'm trying to see if they got any circles here. What's that there? That's a carbon steel hook. So there's another one as well. But if I can find one, I think they got them over there. If I'll just get one from over here now. So this is an owner. He's probably got some there, and I can't see him, but it is. But this is what's known as a circle hook. So the circle hook is here as well. We've got them in Sakuma as well. So there's an owner and a Sakuma hook there. Now the circle hooks, if I show you correctly, a lot of people are starting to use these hooks for different species, and the reason they're using them for different species is they tend to work where they get them lip hooked in the side of the mouth, okay, and it basically comes around like so. So basically, as the hook comes back in on itself, and the point of it comes in the side, so when it comes through, you're not getting off. They're actually doing the job perfectly. Really good for like fast running fish, screaming real fish. So you like bass, smooth hound, taupe, and spur dogs and stuff like that. They're a cracking hook to use, and they work really well. I know a few anglers to live down in Cornwall, and they rate them for the target and the gilt heads for their top hook as well. But guys, that is basically hooks, okay? It's a short description of what hooks do and what species to use them for, and I hope that's obviously helped a few of you as well when you're starting out into what hooks for what species and stuff. But the best thing I can suggest is get a few different type of hooks and play around, and you'll soon get to see what hook suits your type of fishing. And as I said, sometimes I tend to go overgunned because of the type of fishing I'm doing, but when you're first starting off, you don't necessarily need to do that. You know what I mean? You enjoy the experience, gather all the knowledge and that as you're fishing, and just take it in. If something's not working, there's a reason why it's not working, and I'm sure between you and a few hours of playing around, you'll get it. Okay, so that is us on hooks.